My husband sat across from our friends, put his hand on my knee, and told them, "I'm really worried about her drinking." Everyone stared at me like I was some kind of ticking bomb. The problem? I don't drink. At all. He spent months convincing our friends and my own family that I had a secret alcohol problem, so that when I finally uncovered his affair and tried to tell them the truth, no one believed a word I said. This is the story of how my husband built a fake addiction for me, to hide a very real betrayal of his own. As you listen, let me know in the comments, who do you think is worse, the cheater or the person who invents an addiction to hide it? I'm a 31-year-old woman, and until last year I thought my husband, Owen 32M, was the safe choice. You know the type. Steady job in IT. Not the loudest guy in the room but funny one-liners. Good with my parents, good with kids. After a very messy breakup with an ex who cheated, my friends used to say, "You need someone like Owen." Boring in a good way. We dated for 3 years, married for 4. We had the usual arguments over money, chores, whose turn it was to cook. But nothing that felt like a red flag. There's one important detail. I do not drink. At all. Not for moral or religious reasons. My dad is an alcoholic. I grew up with slurred words, broken promises, and a lot of nights where my mom cried in the kitchen. So when I turned 18 I decided no alcohol. Period. I don't lecture anyone about it. I don't mind if other people drink. I just personally won't touch the stuff. Owen knew this from day one. He likes a beer after work, the occasional whiskey with friends, but he always said he respected my choice. I actually thought it was nice that he could have a drink without turning into my dad. It made me feel safe. For a while. The first time something felt off, we were at a friend's birthday party. Everyone was drinking. I was sipping ginger ale with lime. A mutual friend, Kelsey, offered me a cocktail and I said my usual, "No thanks, I don't drink." Owen laughed and said, "Yeah, we try to keep it that way." His tone was joking, but the word try stuck with me. On the way home I teased him. "What was that? We try to keep it that way comment?" He shrugged. "I don't know, just a joke." I didn't push it. We were both tired and full of cake. But little comments started appearing more and more. If someone offered me a drink, "No, don't tempt her," he'd say, laughing. If I grabbed a fancy soda in a glass bottle, "Don't worry, it's just soda," he'd add, even though nobody asked. Once during a game night I spilled some sparkling water on the table, and he said, "She's clumsy even when she's sober." Everyone laughed. I forced a smile, but something about the way he said it turned my stomach. When we got home I mentioned it again. "Babe, can you stop making jokes like that? You know my history with my dad. It's not funny to me." He kissed my forehead. "Sorry. I'm just messing around. I'll stop." He didn't. About 6 months later things escalated. We've always hosted a big holiday dinner for our friend group. This time, halfway through the evening, I noticed people watching me strangely. I was just carrying dishes back and forth, talking, laughing, sipping lemonade. When I went into the kitchen to grab dessert plates, my friend Mark followed me. He closed the door behind us and lowered his voice. "Hey, are you okay?" I frowned. "Yeah? Why?" He looked uncomfortable. "I don't want to overstep, but if you ever need help or, if you ever want to talk about cutting back, I'm here." Cutting back on what? I honestly thought he meant sugar or caffeine. "What are you talking about, Mark?" He hesitated. "Owen just said things have been rough. That you've been drinking more. That he's worried about you. I've seen you trip a few times tonight and..." I stared at him. I hadn't had a single drop of alcohol. I tripped once because the dog ran under my feet. "Mark, I don't drink. At all. You know that." He looked confused. "Yeah, that's what I thought, but Owen..." The kitchen door opened. Owen stepped in, saw us, and immediately smiled too wide. "Everything okay in here?" Mark backed away like he'd been caught doing something wrong. "Yeah, man, we're good." The rest of the night I couldn't shake the feeling that People were watching me as if I might suddenly start slurring my words. After everyone left, I confronted Owen. "Why did you tell Mark I've been drinking?" Owen raised his eyebrows. "I didn't. I just said I was worried about you lately." He jumped to conclusions. "He literally told me you said I was drinking more." Owen sighed dramatically like I was being unreasonable. "Okay, maybe I said you've been more tempted to drink. You've been stressed. You joked about needing wine." I cut him off. "I joked about needing coffee. And even if I had joked about wine, that's not the same as drinking." He shook his head. "You're overreacting. It was just guy talk. I was venting. I didn't think he'd run to you." This argument ended with me doubting my own memory. Had I said something that sounded like I was struggling with alcohol? Was I being too sensitive because of my dad? I let it go. That was mistake number 1. Around this time, Owen started spending more evenings at work. He said they were short-staffed, big project, late nights. Sometimes he'd come home exhausted and crash on the couch. Sometimes he'd shower immediately and put his clothes straight into the wash, saying he'd spilled coffee or food on them. Did I suspect cheating right away? Honestly, no. My brain went to, he's stressed, he's tired. Maybe we need a vacation. We did argue more though. Little things turn big quickly. I'd say, "Can you help with the dishes?" And he'd snap, "Why are you always on my back? I'm doing my best." If I brought up how distant he seemed, he'd say, "You're imagining things. Maybe if you weren't so tense all the time." It was subtle, but the pattern was there. If something felt wrong, it was my fault. Then came the night everything clicked. We were watching TV. Owen fell asleep on the couch, phone half under his leg. I wasn't snooping. His phone buzzed. The screen lit up just enough for me to see the contact name, Nora Work, and the message preview. "I miss you already." My stomach dropped. Coworkers don't send "I miss you already" texts at 11:30 p.m. I stared at his phone for a solid minute, fighting with myself. Finally, I picked it up and opened the thread. I know privacy, but at that point my gut was screaming. The thread was not professional. There were weeks of messages, flirty banter, complaints about their partners. That night in the hotel was perfect. Selfies. My hand shook as I scrolled. Owen, my safe choice. Telling some woman she was his escape, that he felt more understood in 1 week with her than in years of marriage. There were dates and times, many of them lined up perfectly with his late nights at work. I put the phone down. My heart was pounding, but suddenly a lot of things made sense. The distance, the irritability, the defensiveness, the fake concern about my drinking. My first instinct was to wake him up and confront him, but something in me said, document first, talk later. So I took photos of the messages with my own phone, saved the images to a hidden folder. Then I sat at the kitchen table all night, shaking. By morning, I decided I wasn't going to have a screaming match. I was going to be calm, factual, and done. But I had no idea what he'd already set up behind my back. The next evening, Owen came home unusually cheerful. "Hey babe, let's have a chill night." I invited a couple of people over. I was still trying to act normal until I figured out my plan, so I just said okay. An hour later, our living room held Mark and his wife, Kelsey, Owen's sister Jenna, and to my surprise, my own brother. They all looked serious. My stomach tightened. Owen cleared his throat and sat beside me, his hand resting heavily on my knee. "So," he started, "I asked everyone here because I'm really worried about Megan." "That's me." I blinked. He continued, eyes glued to the floor, voice shaking just enough to sound sincere. "Her drinking has gotten out of control. She hides bottles. She drinks alone." I didn't know what else to do. My jaw literally dropped. "What the hell are you talking about?" They all shifted uncomfortably. Kelsey wouldn't meet my eyes. Mark looked exactly the way he had in the kitchen months before. My brother spoke up. Meg, we love you. Owen told us what's been going on. The blackouts, the mood swings, the empties in the trash. The empties in the trash? We don't even throw glass in our kitchen trash. It goes in recycling. And if there were bottles, they'd be Owen's. I stood up. You all know I don't drink. Kelsey finally looked at me. You used to say that. But people can slip. It's okay. I laughed, one of those short, hysterical laughs you can't control. He's lying. He's the one who drinks. He's the one staying out all night. I turned to Owen, fury boiling up. You want to talk about out of control? Should we talk about Nora from work? Or do you want me to read your texts out loud? The room went silent. Owen's face changed in a split second, from fake concern to icy anger. See, he said quietly to the room. This is what I was talking about. She gets paranoid. She invents things. She thinks I'm cheating every time I stay late. Mark nodded slowly, like this matched a story he'd already been told. My brother frowned. Nora from work? He asked me carefully. I pulled my phone out, hands shaking, and started opening the photos. Here's your Saint Owen. Owen lunged for the phone. My brother stepped between us, and suddenly the living room was chaos. Raised voices, people grabbing arms, everyone talking over each other. Owen yelled, "This is exactly why she's not working right now. She can't function. Alcohol makes her paranoid and aggressive. I have an accounting degree. I left my last job voluntarily because we planned to start a family. We'd agreed I'd take some time to freelance from home." Now he was spinning that as can't function. I finally snapped. I am not an alcoholic, Owen. You made that up so no one would listen when I told them their golden boy was screwing someone from work. But looking around, I could see the damage was already done. They weren't seeing a wife who discovered proof of an affair. They were seeing a woman yelling, shaking, holding up her phone, while her sad, calm husband begged her to just get help. It was like he'd rehearsed it. The intervention ended with everyone encouraging me to seek therapy and join a support group. My brother offered to drive me to meetings. Owen cried into Jenna's shoulder in the hallway, saying he didn't know how much longer he could do this. No one asked to see the screenshots. No one even asked Nora's last name. That night, Owen and I slept in separate rooms. The next morning, he acted like we hadn't just detonated our lives. If you admit you have a problem, I'll stand by you, he said. We can get through this. I stared at him. How long have you been planning this? He didn't answer. So I packed a bag, took my laptop, and left. I went straight to my brother's house. On the drive over, I printed out the screenshots at a copy shop. I wrote a timeline of dates matching his late nights, with hotel receipts from our shared bank account. When I arrived, my brother looked at me like I was made of glass. Meg, I really think you should. I cut him off and laid the papers out on his kitchen table. Read, I said. All of it. Then decide if you still think I need AA, or if your brother-in-law needs a lawyer. He read. His face went from concern to angry to disgusted. He told us you were seeing things, my brother muttered. That you were paranoid. That you'd been hiding bottles in the laundry room. I snorted. Go check my laundry room. You'll find nothing but socks that never met their partners. He rubbed his face. I'm sorry. I should have known. He laid the groundwork for months, Meg. We all thought we were stepping in before it got worse. There it was. While I'd been wondering if our marriage was okay, Owen had been quietly painting me as unstable. If I ever tried to expose him, he wanted a preloaded excuse. That's just her addiction talking. I filed for separation that week. Owen did not take that well. He went full PR mode. He told everyone that I was running away from help. I was abandoning the marriage instead of working on myself, and that the affair accusations were part of my delusions. He left out the part where I had printed evidence and an actual timeline. A few mutual friends stayed neutral. A couple fully sided with him. Kelsey sent me a long message about how addiction makes people push away those who care, and that she hoped one day I'd forgive Owen for trying to help. I responded with a single photo from his texts. Owen, last night with you was the best I've felt in years. I wish I could just stay in your hotel room forever. Then I blocked her. Mark eventually reached out to apologize for the intervention. He said once he actually thought about it, my drinking made 0 sense. No one had ever seen me drunk. I never ordered alcohol in bars. There were never bottles in my car or bag. And I was always the designated driver. It's just, Owen had said it so calmly so often, that they all started to believe it. If someone tells you the fire alarm is broken long enough, Mark said, you start ignoring the smoke. Fair analogy. Here's the thing about office affairs. They rarely stay secret forever. A couple of months into our separation, Nora's boyfriend found out. He worked at a different branch of the same company. Apparently Nora had tried the same tactic as Owen, painting her boyfriend as controlling and unsupportive. When he saw messages from Owen, the story fell apart. Boyfriend went nuclear. He reported the affair to HR, citing company policy about manager-subordinate relationships and using work travel for personal hookups. Owen wasn't Nora's direct manager, but they were in overlapping teams. It still looked bad. HR launched an investigation. You know what made it worse for Owen? The emotional messages. The timestamps. The fact that some trips had been billed as client visits when there were no meetings scheduled. Long story short, Owen was demoted and transferred. Nora quit. Suddenly the narrative of poor devoted husband with drunk, paranoid wife looked less convincing. His sister Jenna called me. I'm so sorry, she said, voice shaking. He lied to all of us. About everything. I should have listened when you said he was cheating. I told her I appreciated the apology, but I was done being the only one double-checking my reality. My brother, who had felt guilty about believing Owen, helped me find a good attorney. We handled the divorce as cleanly as we could. Owen tried to push the addiction angle in mediation, hoping it would affect asset division. My lawyer, bless her, simply asked, can you provide any proof that my client consumes alcohol? Witnesses, purchases, medical records. He couldn't, because there wasn't any. Meanwhile, we had printed texts, emails, and HR paperwork documenting his affair and misuse of company time. The judge was not impressed with him. The divorce finalized 6 months later. We sold the house. I got a fair share. I kept my car, my savings, and most importantly, my sanity. Owen moved into a small apartment near his new office. I've heard through the grapevine that his reputation at work is not great. Apparently it's hard to be Team Player of the Year when HR has your cheating emails on file. Nora tried to spin the story online as escaping a toxic relationship and a toxic job. Her Instagram is full of sunset selfies and captions about leaving behind lower vibrations. Last I heard, her ex-boyfriend is happily engaged to someone else. As for me, I went back to full-time accounting work. It's not glamorous, but numbers are honest. If something doesn't add up, it's obvious. I also started therapy, not for alcoholism but for the emotional whiplash of being gaslit by someone I trusted. My therapist said something that stuck with me. He didn't just cheat with another woman. He cheated with reality. He tried to rewrite it and cast you as the unreliable narrator in your own life. That's exactly what it felt like. Looking back, the red flags were there. The jokes about drinking that never stopped. The way he always framed my concerns as overreactions. The way he preemptively told people his version of events before anything actually happened. He didn't just plan his exit from our marriage. He planned his defense. If I hadn't documented those messages, If HR hadn't gotten involved, he might have succeeded in convincing everyone that I was crazy. Instead, he just proved how far he was willing to go to protect his image. So yeah, my husband told everyone I was an alcoholic, so they wouldn't believe me when I exposed his affair. In the end, the truth came out anyway. Lies have short legs. Receipts have long lives. What do you think? Is this just standard cheater manipulation? Or is inventing an addiction for your partner a whole new level of evil? Would you ever forgive friends or family who believed the lie over you? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story and want more long Reddit-style relationship drama, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Reddit Story Vault, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.